Hi, TikTok community. A while ago, I made a post where I asked you what made a good BL community member. It's taken me some time, but I have compiled those answers and come up with some values that I really think were embedded in the community responses. I'm going to use this video to outline the responses that I got to inform you kind of what community came up with how to be a good community member here in fandom space. And then I'm also going to outline some strategies for connection so we can continue to build community together in TikTok community or in any other space that we find ourselves gathering. Before I get into the values, I just want to remind you of what a value is. It's essentially a principle or standard of behavior. So it's a guiding principle, one might say, that we're using to inform how we choose to act, both when we're being in relationship with others or when we need to make choices on our own. Here in context of BL community, the values that I'm about to share with you are what our community members shared help to create a space that is connected and joyful and fun, and also supports safety of learning together, which means that we make mistakes and grow. So the first value that I'm going to talk about is respect. We are a truly global community, so we have different languages, races, genders, cultures, and backgrounds all represented here every single day. Community members talked about how it was important to remember that people come from different places, have different backgrounds and understandings, and respecting that is really important. Respecting people's personal opinions, remembering that loving something that you didn't like and vice versa is totally okay because we all have different opinions. Diversity is part of what makes our community beautiful. Respect also guides us to hold individual people as more important than fictional stories, which means we can easily agree to disagree about what the best BL is, but we won't tolerate disrespectful behavior patterns that create harm in our community. The next value that I'm going to talk about is open-mindedness. Open-mindedness means that we remember that we're all at different places of learning as we come and join in the community together. Because of the nature of our community, we're going to be exposed to things that are perhaps unfamiliar to us or maybe even strange. And coming to those things with a place of open-mindedness and desire to learn will help us to connect with each other as opposed to create division. It also means that we have a willingness to learn. Being open-minded means that we are able to take feedback and also assume best intentions of people around us, and perhaps give people feedback in an effort to connect, learn, and grow together. The next value is humility. Please don't confuse this with being humiliated. Humility is being humble. When we're humble, we are aware of both our own individual strengths and limitations. Having cultural humility is very important in this context because it means that we understand and reflect on our own culture and how that is a context that we bring into any conversation. Cultural humility reminds us that we are an expert only on our own experience and not other people's. And we are guests in Thai, Japanese, Taiwanese, and many other cultures of shows that we consume. It also means that we work to be aware of our own cultural context and how it affects the way we view the world. And we get to learn how to slow down and unpack that sometimes together here in community. When we create a respectful, open-minded, and humble environment, it means that we can make those mistakes and learn and grow together. And the last value I want to talk about is curiosity. I actually think that curiosity is the antithesis to judgment. And when we cultivate curiosity, it helps to curb judgment and learn and grow together. It leads us to ask questions, learn about different cultures, both the cultures of other BL community members that may be different or foreign from our own, as well as the cultures that are represented in the media that we love and talk about here online in our fandom space. When we are open-minded and curious and respectful about culture, it helps us to be respectful consumers of that media and community members together. Okay, so now that we have these values laid out, let's talk about a few strategies for connection that I have outlined, and I would love for people to share other strategy suggestions in the comments. The first one that I have is number one, to prioritize community. While we are here to talk about the shows and artists and music and anything else that we love, it's the people that we interact with regularly online that are the actual community. So we are each responsible for cultivating our own experience here, working to connect with other community members and creators who reflect the community experience that you want to have is a way to start. It also means that we prioritize the well-being of one another over our favorite show or artist. For example, let's just be real for a minute. The relationships that I have created with people that I have met on this app are deep, meaningful, and lasting, and my obsession with Jungdunk probably not in the same way. You matter way more to me than them. Not because they aren't important people, but because I don't have relationship with them, and I do with you. The next strategy for community building and connection is to take care of your heart so you can also help take care of others. Being aware of our own emotions, what it looks like for us to be triggered or activated, helps us to take responsibility for our experience and to talk about it in ways that create connection instead of discord. When we're in community together, it's not always going to be smooth sailing. Community requires that we develop skills at conflict resolution, and that's okay. Also, being good at conflict resolution means that we work on being accountable for our part in conflicts. Taking care of ourselves is part of that piece. Learning to understand ourselves is part of that piece because it's ourselves that we bring into community with others. Number 3, assume best intentions. This isn't always easy, but I think giving the gift of grace is really important. And I think the values of open-mindedness and curiosity really help to do this. Working in the comments to assume that people are coming here thoughtfully and respectfully, even if it doesn't quite feel or sound that way in the beginning, can be really helpful. I really like the idiom, never attribute to hatred or malice what could be more easily attributed to ignorance. Assuming best intentions also helps us to stay open-minded and remember that we will be the ones who need feedback sometimes, who make mistakes sometimes, who have to work to make amends to others sometimes. It's really a beautiful thing and an excellent practice. Another strategy that I would suggest is to connect through joy, laughter, and goofiness. Now, it's because that building a foundation of connection through having fun together, through being joyful, through being silly, helps us to build trust, to do some of the other harder things that happen in community. Having fun and being joyful helps us weather difficult challenges. It also helps us to cultivate those things in times of strife or darkness. It's beautiful. The last strategy that I'm going to suggest is that we always work to stay grounded. That means having fun in the Delulu land of whatever we want to do, while also holding consistently and centered in our minds that we don't actually know any of the idols that we're talking about, and they don't know us. At the end of the day, we play and have fun and we feel together here. We learn and grow and sometimes engage in activism. In order to do that effectively, we have to remember that the idols are idols and that we are the people in relationship with one another. I really hope that all of this made sense to you. I did work hard to compile it as best as I could. I hope the suggestions make sense and are helpful. And I just really want to encourage people to come into the comments and make more suggestions as to values or strategies for connection that they find helpful in building community in a fandom space. Thank you so much for listening and for waiting for this video. I know it took me a while, but I needed to be careful with it. Love you.